Alright, today we're changing out a broken lock actuator. And of course it's not doing it for me right now, but what typically happens when it fails is I'll hit the lock, and instead of it locking, it'll go bzz, like a spring is broken or a plastic gear is stripped, and this will stay up. But I guess it's kind of like taking your car to the shop. Never duplicate the problem. I would say it's happening about 1 out of every 10, maybe 15 times I lock the doors. This driver's one doesn't lock. It always unlocks though, so it's an interesting failure. It must be the way the teeth are inside the motor that when it fails to lock, not unlock. Maybe they think that's a safety feature. Unfortunately, I would rather the doors always lock when I hit lock rather than think they're locked and find out that they're not. Anytime you're filming, of course, you can't duplicate the problem. This lock fails to lock probably 30 to 40% of the time when I'm not filming. Of course, it's working perfect now. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and change out the lock actuator. The actuator should be somewhere behind here. You have to take this whole panel off to get to it. Remember, on these, you need to pry from the front. If you pry from the back, you'll break them. Because they have that tab right there that snaps off if you pry from the back. And these just press and release. And they are different on the 10 and 11 models. They're different size connectors, but basically the same idea, press and release. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Just like that. That one, same thing. Just put that someplace safe. You have a plastic tab in there. I tried plastic tools and none of them are small enough, strong enough to get in there. So just use a screwdriver. And you see, if you pry from the side, it will remove it's held on with those retainers on the top and bottom. It exposes that Torx bolt in there. And it's a T27 that's working on it. I think you can also work it with the T25. It definitely makes it easier if you have a power tool. So there's your Torx bolt. And then this handle, depending on how many times it's been removed, will either be a major pain to get out or it'll be so broken that it'll just fall out. I think mine still has a little bit of the plastic retention on it. So if you have a tool like this, or even like a credit card or debit card, it can help you press that out of there. So see, it has, if they're not broken off, it has tabs all the way around. So if you just kind of get the tool in there and press it down, it'll release. And for those of you that have the back doors that don't work, that's what the actual pin looks like, but you can put just about any kind of bolt in there and restore your back doors, assuming that's how they disabled them. And then you need to remove the 7mm bolts. There's one right there. I'll need to grab it because it will fall. Right there. Not all models have a bolt here. And then all of them are going to have 2 or 3 across the bottom. Bolts removed, you're going to pry straight upward on the door panel. Once it clears the door lock, it comes off that easy. You see, it's basically just held on with those little fingers that kind of fit into certain slots. And then we need to peel this away and try to not rip it It tends to want to rip no matter what you do. So our actuator is about right here. This is what the new part looks like. So you've got an electrical on the bottom. This appears to be the mounting point. So I'm wondering if it's in there like that somehow. I'll have to figure it out. And then that looks like that connects to the lock rod. The actuator is held on with this rivet here. Pop the center out of it. Rivet popped out. That just kind of unsnapped. And then trying to see if I can reach the power cable. So there's my old one all tore up. It's always good to compare them, make sure that they look to be the same part. So I'm going to go ahead and install it exactly in reverse. So I'm going to connect the electrical, I'm going to snap that piece in, and then I'm going to put a rivet through there. It's kind of blind snapping this into place. Just do the best you can as far as trying to see in there and feel, but once there's a little plastic clip that snaps into, and you want to push it until you feel it click into place. After that, I think you want to reach into here and put the rivet on. And it's a 1/4 inch rivet. There we go. That's about a 1/2 inch long rivet, 1/4 inch thick. And just test your repair before you put everything back together. Looks like it's good. What I usually do to reattach this is just put some RTV or something along those lines, even E6000, just something to stick it back down. Sometimes I'll even put duct tape to close up the rips and tears that are in it. But you want to try to get it back as much as possible the way it was to keep water from getting in. I'll just use some of this. It seems to work pretty well in vehicles. Seems to survive the heat too. Has pretty quick adhesion. Only thing you see that it does is it kind of drips. Then I'll put a piece of duct tape over that piece. So not pretty, but it should do the job that it's supposed to do. And just line up so that the cords come through there and your lock comes through the little hole on top. And it once you've got that, then it should just fit into place. You just check and see if you missed any of the slots. It'll be wiggly. I like to reinstall this bolt first because if you drop it in the door, you can just pop the panel off and start over. Whereas if you wait to do this one last and you drop it in the door, then you got to do all the bolts over again. And I'd say it's about 50-50 that you drop this one in the door, at least with my big fat hands. Connect these, and there's only one way they can go. You can't mix them up. Remember, slide the back and then press in the front, and then just make sure that fits into that gap there, and it just kind of snaps straight in. And then you have your 27 Torx bolt. Power tools make it quicker and easier. And then don't forget our cap, that the little clips are up and down and the little indentations are side to side. Now hopefully every time I hit lock, that will lock, and every time I hit unlock, it will unlock. Like I said, it was about 30% of the time that when I'd hit lock, it wouldn't lock. It always unlocked though. Unfortunately, I'd rather have it fail to unlock rather than fail to lock. This is the 2010, and on it's my driver's lock actuator that's not working. So just same as the 08, the tab on the back will break if you pry from the back, so pry from the front and then slide it out. I just wanted to show you the difference in the connectors. Now, one being the driver's side, you've got the mirror controls, but the connectors themselves are a little bit different. And just put that piece someplace safe. The driver's door also has this connector. It was just basically that Christmas tree deal stuck in there, so you just pull it off of there. Came disassembled, but it just slides in there and clicks into place. Ready to go. The other one, that piece was already pre-assembled. I guess if you got one that didn't have this, just pop the one off of your existing one and reuse it, but I'm going to use the one that came with this one, and links for all these will be in the description. Well, this is the old one. Listen to it versus that. So this one gets, you can hear where the gear gets off, and see, like now there's no gear at all. So that's what's broke. I don't know, there's probably a way to open this up and try to replace it. I'm guessing there's like a little plastic gear in here somewhere that breaks, but because it looks like it's sealed plastic, it's probably risky to you in that you probably have to cut it with a knife and not cut your hand, not have the knife slip and stuff. So probably for, I think this was like 20 bucks, it's not worth the risk of cutting it.